So it's something we all got to pay attention to. There is a blessing in everything. Behind every moment of adversity in your life, there is a blessing and a lesson. Pain always leaves a gift. Always. God is a merciful God. He didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't set you up to fail. You're tripping, man. Even if you're wrong, he forgives us. Just keep moving, man. It ain't nothing. Now, look, I've had some painful moments in this like you. But hey, I look for the bright side, man. I expect something good to happen.
Pain is a part of life. It's easy to get discouraged, think, why is this happening to me? But one of the best principles I've learned is don't put a question mark where God has put a period. One reason is we can't see the big picture for our lives. If you have a puzzle, on the front of the box, there's the picture. As a whole, it's fantastic, so beautiful. But if you were to take one piece and isolate it, you would think, look at this funny looking piece. It's not going to fit anywhere. It's an odd shape. But the fact is, that piece has a perfect place. When the other pieces come together, it will fit in. In the same way, sometimes we look at pieces in our lives that don't make sense. I lost a loved one. I'm going through cancer. This piece couldn't be a part of God's plan. But you have to trust that even in the painful times, God doesn't make any mistakes.
Many of you know that God will make things uncomfortable to get you out of your comfort zone, to put you in a place of purpose and destiny, to rise to the height of your calling and soar above your adversities and fly like the eagle you were created to be.
God never said that we would understand everything that happens along the way, but He did promise that it would all work out for our good. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. If you go through a divorce, a friend betrays you, eventually that will pass. You'll get through it, but you will be different. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. My challenge, don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to gain new confidence. Anybody can give up. But you know what that's doing? Wasting your pain. The scripture talks about how God is in control, not just of our lives, but He's in control of our enemies. The enemy may turn on the fire, but the good news is God has His hand on the thermostat. He knows what we can handle. If it was going to harm us rather than help us, God would have turned back the intensity. It's helpful to remind yourself, I may be in this fire, but I know who controls the temperature. The God who is for me and not against me. The God who takes pleasure in prospering me, He's in complete control. He's not going to let it defeat me. I may not like it, but I'm not a whiner. I know I can handle this. We've all heard the saying, no pain, no gain. If everything was always easy, we wouldn't be prepared for our destiny. Every struggle is making you stronger. Every painful time, even though you don't like it, it's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Without the pain, we couldn't reach the fullness of our destinies. We were not created to float through life on flowery beds of ease. Difficulties are a part of life. In those tough times, God is getting you prepared. Now quit telling yourself you can't take it. You're not weak. You are well able. The reason the fire is so hot is because God has something amazing in your future. See, God doesn't just randomly say, let me give them some pain to make their life miserable. There is a purpose for the pain. We may not always understand it, but I can tell you, if God allowed it, He knows how to bring good out of it. Now, I'm not going to just go through it. I'm going to grow through it. I'm going to keep a good attitude, knowing that this pain is leading to my gain. Sometimes we bring pain on ourselves. Get in a relationship we know is not good, or maybe get over our head in our spending. We're having to deal with the consequences. And God is full of mercy. He'll always give us the grace to get out of it. Be big enough to look back and say, okay, here's where I missed it. I ignored the warnings. I got out of God's time and got in a hurry. Not going to do that anymore. There's a lesson in the pain. A man I know has struggled with diabetes most of his life. I saw him recently. He looks better than ever. He said, Joel, that stay in the hospital was a wake-up call for me. I've changed my diet. I exercise every day. I feel like a new man. He learned the lesson. We talk a lot about letting go of the past. And yes, that's true. But another way to say it is remember the lesson. But if you go through a painful time and you don't come out with what you were supposed to learn, you're doing yourself a disservice. Don't keep repeating the same mistakes again and again. Are you struggling in a relationship because you keep saying everything you feel like saying? Here's a newsflash. The pain will stop if you zip it up. Other times we experience pain that have nothing to do with our choices. We were doing the right thing and the wrong thing happened. The scripture says rain falls on the just and the unjust. There are forces of darkness trying to keep you from your destiny. And even though it's painful now, if you'll stay in faith, that will lead you toward your destiny. Take what was meant for harm and use it to your advantage. When you go through something you don't understand, doesn't make sense, have a new perspective. The reason God allowed it is because He can trust you. Maybe you've been through something you don't understand. Life hasn't turned out the way you'd hoped. It's painful. It's easy to take on a victim mentality. Why did these people mistreat me growing up? Why did I have this bad break? It's because God knows He can trust you. Just like God said to Satan, you can test Job, but you can't take his life. I know what Job's made of. God is saying the same thing about you. I'm going to bring them out better, and I'm going to use them to help other people who are struggling in the same areas. There's a purpose for that pain. Cindy Leitner received a phone call saying that her 13-year-old daughter, Carrie, had been hit by a car. Unfortunately, Carrie lost her life that day. The man driving the car was under the influence of alcohol. This mother was devastated. When she heard that, something rose up in her like she had never felt. She started a new organization. She called it MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Today, her organization has saved hundreds of thousands of lives, changed laws. Cindy Leitner understands this principle. She didn't waste her pain. She could have sat around depressed, bitter, blaming God, but she didn't put a question mark where God put a period. Today, she's impacting the world. I believe you and I can find a purpose in our pain. Keep moving forward. Do like she did. Go out and encourage somebody else. You have something to give others. You can encourage people who are going through what you've been through. We've all been through things that are uncomfortable. We didn't like it, but God made a way when we didn't see a way. God's counting on us to let our light shine. Be on the lookout for somebody you can encourage. Don't waste your pain. Don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Go out and lift somebody else up.
That opposition, those obstacles that you will encounter, that's how you become stronger. And here's what I want to say to you. For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dreams.